Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Robin Armbrecht and this is Really Robin Stamps, and you are joining me today for Papercrafting Playdate. Today is September 3rd, 2021, and this is episode 31. So I'm super excited to show you what I have today, and we're really building on the pattern that we learned last week when we worked on easel cards. So today's project is called an inside out easel card, and it's really an over-the-top kind of amazing card. But even if you don't really like over-the-top kind of cards, I think you're going to really enjoy this project. So let's get started. All right, I'm going to do the awkward camera flip. Okay, now let me check that out and make sure we've got the right space and find you on Facebook. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. There we go. I think that's pretty good. All right. So again, it is September. How does everybody feel about that? The fact that it is September already. I think that's pretty amazing. I'm going to try to share this video into my VIP group here. Let's see. I always go live on Fridays, and it's usually around 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you ever want to try to catch me live, just come over and like my Facebook page and you'll be able to find me really quickly. Hello, Cindy. How are you doing today? All right, let me move this. So since it's September, I got a new hostess code for the month. And it is still celebration, so we are super excited about that. And before I show you the inside out card, I want to tell you about a very special class that I am offering just during the month, not even the month. I have been offering it during the month of August, and I extended it until September 8th, which is next week. If you place a $50 celebration qualifying order, and this is for US orders, you're going to get a free class from me. And what this class looks like is 14 cards. I don't know what's best to show you. Here's what you'll get in your card kit. You'll get 14 card bases. Hello, Susan. How are you? I'm so excited that you're joining me today. Welcome. You get 14 card bases. You get 6 sheets of designer series paper, and they are 6 by 6. You get 14 punched shapes for the sentiments, and you get 3 yards of ribbon, 1.5 yards of each. And with that, we're gonna do a pick 6 template where you're going to create with me 14 cards out of those supplies. And you're gonna be blown away by how easy it is. So again, this option, if you're watching this video later on after September 8th, 2021, just fast forward. But this video that I make for this class will eventually be up, so you can kind of search for pick 6. So anyway, this is my free class. This is my free offer with a $50 order. And I look forward to stamping with you. You're gonna get 2 choices. You can either pick the Sweet Symmetry or the hand penned, and they're both absolutely gorgeous. So here are the hand penned cards. They're so pretty. All right, that is my Pick 6 Wonder free class. If you want more information and like this PDF, it's all on my blog. So reallyrobinstamps.com. Okay, let's get busy. I am also glad for the cooler weather, Miss Cindy. So glad that we're like just headed into a new season. I think that's going to be good. All right, so I kind of am teasing this card here, and let me just move this one more little notch here. Try to get it straight. or maybe my camera's not straight. All right, here's the card, you guys. This is an inside out easel card, and I'm showing it to you first because I don't know how else to explain what an inside out easel card is. So here is how it would come in an envelope, all right? Very simple on the inside, but when you open it, it turns inside out and makes an easel. Okay, so that's kind of why this is tied to what we did last week, but it's stepped up even more. Look at this. This blew my mind. All right, so I'm going to show you how to put this together step by step. So these are the stamp sets that I am using today. I've got Christmas Season on page 18 of the mini catalog, and I've got Christmas to Remember on page 19 of the catalog. Now these are both bundled with different items, so you can get the dies that coordinate with all of these images plus a bunch of labels. This is a huge set. Mine is all over the place. And then with this one, it is bundled with this really pretty 2-layered full card size pine cone and pine bough, I guess, images. Very, very pretty. I haven't even played with that yet. So we're going to start with these. Now, in case you haven't watched last week's video, we go back and watch it if you need to learn how to make an easel card. This is what we did last week. And an easel card is just a card base that will stand up like that so that the front of the card can be displayed. So it's a really great way to give a beautiful card, and then the recipient can display it wherever they want, and it gives you the opportunity to also kind of decorate the inside and just kind of step it up a little bit. So we did a vertical version, a horizontal version, and then we did this fun little twisted version in last week's episode 30. So you can go back and watch that if you would like to. All right, now I'm going to move this and I'm going to show you how we cut. All right, so I'm going to start with a sheet of crumb cake. I kind of felt safe dipping my toe in the water of making a Christmas card today because it's gonna be, you know, it's officially September, and you know, I can start thinking about it. I wasn't ready to just start thinking about any holidays just quite yet. So for the horizontal version of the inside out card, you're going to start with one full sheet of cardstock, and the first thing that you're going to do is cut it exactly in half at 5.5 inches. Just like you would be making 2 regular cards. This design for an inside out card uses almost all of this. There's a little piece left over. All right, so on the first card base, now that you've cut it 5.5 by 8.5, you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. Make sure your cutting blade's out of the way. Had a little mishap earlier today, so I'm hypersensitive to where that blade is. And then you're going to score it at 5 inches. So first was 3/4 inches. The second is 5 inches. Like that. So we've got it scored in 2 places like that. On the second piece, you're going to start exactly the same. You're going to score at 3/4 of an inch, and then you're going to go to 5 inches, just like you did for the first half, but instead of scoring it, you're going to cut it. And then this is the piece that is left over. All right, so Kind of easy to remember. You've got your two halves, right? Your two card bases. Score, 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 cut. Score 3/4, score 5, score 3/4, cut 5. Super easy. You can kind of remember that. All right, let's move the paper cutter. So this is the card base, and I'm calling this a card base extension because we just need like one extra piece to make this flip inside out. Okay, so these little 3/4 inch score lines, you're just going to fold up in one direction. Okay, this piece right here is going to be the outside flap of the card, and then it's going to get twisted around to make that base. So we need this one scored in both directions. You want this particular score to be very flexible. You'll know that you scored this and cut this right if these two, when you fold these together, that those meet like that. So let's just make that nice and flexible. Okay, so that is the base of our card. The other pieces that you're going to need are some cardstock or designer series paper. You're going to want one piece that is probably a neutral or a white, and this is going to go on the inside, and it's a place where you can write your personal message. Then you're going to have another piece the same size, and these are 4 inches by 5 1/4, so they're just trimmed quarters. This is going to be part of your inside decoration. And then you need a piece that's 5 1/4 by 3 1/4, and this is going to decorate the outside flap like that. So those are the cardstock pieces. Now let's get out the stamps and the ink colors, and let's do a little bit of stamping with this new stamp set. So I'm going to move the paper out of the way for just a minute, and I'm going to put the dimensions right here in case you want to quick write that down. There will be a PDF as usual on my blog, so you will be able to find that. So first I'm going to bring in all these gorgeous little watercolor images from the Christmas season, and we're going to do some stamping and some die cutting. So this greenery that comes in this Christmas season is really pretty, but if you kind of look outside a little bit of the word Christmas, you really, the only things that are screaming Christmas is the, holly. The rest of it is really just winter foliage. So you can use this well past Christmas, and not even if you don't want to make a Christmas card with it. It's really versatile that way. So let's take some of these greens. This paper that I'm using has Pear Pizzazz, Garden Green, and Evening Evergreen, and then it's got Real Red and Cherry, but I'm going to just use these colors. Isn't that a great Christmas palette? That's fun. All right, so let's take the Pear Pizzazz and the Garden Green, and I'm going to do a 2-step leaf. So we've got this little bit larger leaf, and then we've got some detail that we can put on it. So I'm going to stamp the larger leaf in Pear Pizzazz, and then I'm going to stamp the detail in Garden Green and just layer that right on top. And it just creates a beautiful, I'm so sorry, I changed my table around a couple weeks ago, and I haven't quite found my exact right zone yet for videoing, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit off camera. I'm going to fix that right now. All right, so there, look how pretty that is. It's just gorgeous, layered like that. Then we're going to take just plain old Garden Green here, and we're going to stamp this one because that's pretty. And then we're going to stamp this little piece of berries. So we'll make the stem. I love how easy this is to line up. There's the stem, or the, yeah, stem. And then we're going to put some red berries. And this just lines up perfectly. Just goes right on top. How cool is that? And then the last thing we're going to stamp and cut out is a little sprig of pine needles. And we're going to stamp that in the evening evergreen, because that's just the perfect color. How fun is that? Beautiful. What's really nice about the dies that come with this set is that you can cut out the berries by themselves with the dies, or if you are stamping them like I did on the stem, you've got an option to cut that all out as one piece too. So that gives you a lot of really easy ways to use those berries, and you can put them by any of the foliage. Hello, Margie. Welcome and happy Friday to you. So I'm just showing you the dies here and how they coordinate with these lovely little images. Like that. Pretty cool. All right. I'm going to move the ink pads. I have already cut these out, so let me bring those in so you can see them. Like that. So the die set that coordinates with this stamp set has all these wonderful labels as well, and I haven't even used them all yet, but it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shaped labels, which of course you can use for any greetings. So I cut out this big one, and I cut out this medium one, and I cut out this one, because one of the things that you're going to need is places to put your greetings so that you can kind of coordinate your greetings. Let me show you this again. All right, so you're gonna need something that's gonna stand up. I think that's what makes this inside out card really special. You've got this stand up feature. It doesn't really pop up, but it's, so I don't really want to call it a pop-up, but it kind of is like a pop-up, right? And then you're going to have a kind of a secondary message here that's going to be displayed, and then you need a pop-up image, raised, not pop-up, you need a raised label or image or some kind of embellishment down here that's going to allow that card front to rest, okay? Just so you can kind of see where I'm going. So I already cut those out. I cut out the long one, and I cut out the medium one, and I cut out the big one. All right, now I'm going to bring in the greetings, and I'm going to stamp just a little bit more with maybe here it is. I'm going to stamp this little guy right here. So I'm going to take this label and use some of this little sprigs here, and I'm just going to give it a little border around the edge just to kind of make it a little more interesting when I layer my other foliage on there. And now with the early espresso, we're going to stamp some greetings. So it's really easy to coordinate greetings to go together, and in this case for the inside out card, you really just need like 3 different sentiments that go together. So I'm going to, since this is a card that gets displayed, we're going to, I'm going to pick this one, Friends Like You Make the Season Special. And then for the other display area, we're going to do Love and Joy. And then on the outside and the flap that flips, we're going to do the Merry Christmas. And we'll do all of these in the early espresso. So cute. I love the fonts and how there's a cursive font with a scripty capital letter font. Makes it really fun. There, so there's our greetings, and now all we have to do is assemble. So let me show you how easy this is to put together. Hello, Sue. How are you doing today? Did you go live today also, Sue? Okay, I'm going to put these off to the side and bring in my card base pieces. All right, so remember this is the card base that was scored at 3/4 inch and 5 inches. And then this is the card base extender, which is 5.5 by 5, and it's scored at 3/4 of an inch. So what's going to happen is these 3/4 little pieces here are going to come together, and whatever it is that you want to stand up in your card is going to get sandwiched right in between them, and it's going to get glued together like that. So one of the ways you can kind of orient yourself to the pieces when you get to this part is to go ahead and put the other inside pieces together. So I'm calling this the inside front of the card. And this looks really pretty to put some designer series pattern paper or to put some, you know, colored cardstock, because this is going to be displayed. And then the white piece, and these are the same size, they're 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is where you're going to put your personal message, or you could put a photograph it here, especially if you're making a Christmas card. All right, so those are going to get sandwiched together, and again, this is going to close like that. This is the top front flap, and we'll just put this one on, so we've got that ready to go. This is the piece that's 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, so now we're ready to glue. So what you're going to do on the card base piece is you're going to add your adhesive here. You can use liquid glue. You can use, oops, I have inky fingers. I must have touched an ink pad. You can use liquid glue, or you can use double-sided tape, you can use tear tape, anything like that. You're just going to want something that kind of fills up the whole space. Now while you hold that, you're going to just put part of your stand-up feature into that glue. And what you have to keep in mind is whatever you're going to have stand up cannot go past this score line, so it can't be taller than that. So I'm going to just add these around the sides. Like that. And let's put this one over here. Like that. And then we'll put this cute little berry sprig right there. Okay, so that's what I want to stand up. Now I'm going to attach that there. So the best thing to do is to just go ahead and add glue here, and so you've got kind of a double adhesive situation. Again, you don't have to use liquid glue. You can use tear tape, you can use double-sided adhesive. I kind of like the glue because it allows me to just have a little bit of wiggle room, and you're just going to line those up like that and just make sure that they're straight like that. Oops, I'm going to pull this out a little bit like that. Okay. So now this is your stand-up feature. So what goes on here, this is going to be the inside of the card that's going to also be on display, kind of your secondary greeting place. So we're going to put this label here. And then the final label is going to go on the top front flap, but this top front flap has two jobs, remember. It's going to also flip around when it's inside out and become the bottom stand. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Once you make one of these, it's not going to be confusing, I promise. But the first time you're kind of like, wait, what's happening? All right, so this is the front. I went ahead and put 4 dimensionals on there because this is going to hold up the inside card front when it's displayed, so you want it to be strong. So let me see, am I getting that straight? Almost. You want to put this piece like 1 to 2 inches from the bottom edge, and then I just cut these extra little pines, so we're going to put those here as well. Some berries. Has anybody ever made one of these before? Leave me a comment if you have tried the inside out easel card before. I did not invent this. I saw it from another demonstrator whose name is Vi Tran. She's, her website blog is Crafting Daily Dose. And she made one of these cards with the August paper pumpkin kit. And it was really pretty. So I've never made anything quite like this before. So I thought this was a great opportunity to try something new. And especially since we just did easel cards last week, I thought this was kind of a good extension of that. So before we flip it around again, I'm going to take a couple of these red rhinestones and just add just a little bit of bling to the outside. Like that. All right, so again, this is the front flap, but then when it flips around, it ends up being on the bottom like that. It's so brilliant. What do you think? All right, I think we need just a little bit more bling because, again, this is an over the top card, right? I was trying to make up a new acronym for totally over the top. So I got, you know, TOTT, T-O-T-T. So we're going to call this a TOTT card because it's totally over the top. And then we'll put a couple more down here because it's Christmas. It's a Christmas card. And we're going to just make it very sparkly. Ah, Susan, yes. The stamp set with the cones is next on my list. I know. It's time we can kind of start thinking about it. Or maybe you're not like me and you can think about Christmas all year long, but I wasn't ready yet. All right, there we go. So there is the front, which is very simple. And then when you open it up, you're like, whoa, look at that. I got kind of, when I saw Vi make her card, I literally clapped my hands. I was like, this is so cute. So I'm picturing in my head you guys cheering and oohing and ahhing and clapping your hands. And what's great about this, of course, is that it fits in a regular size envelope. Brilliant. All right. I just took a picture of this and put it on my PDF because I think when you are putting one together for the first time, you might want to make yourself a little template similar to this. So there's going to be, you know, pictures of this that you can use, so you don't have to, you know, remember the dimensions specifically from this video. You can download the PDF and it'll have these pictures on there. So it's just a regular sized card base, and then you've got a card base extension, and they flip together. They don't flip together, they attach together at those 3-inch score lines, and then it folds up like that and then flips around. All right. When you look at Vi's dimensions, her front is actually a little bit shorter. I think she stops at about right here. And that was the first one I tried, and it was the only thing that I really changed from her directions, because when I was making them, the flap of the base, you know, when it flipped over being shorter, it was harder for my card to stand up. So I wanted to make it wider. Plus I wanted to go ahead and use a whole sheet for the card base. I thought it made it a little bit easier to think through how you were putting this card together. Thanks, Susan. I appreciate that. All right, now here's the fun part. I made a bunch, right? So I was trying to think of things that would stand up, and looked at all my dies and thought, oh my goodness, there's a ton of stuff that would stand up. So I used the beautiful, oh gosh, I didn't write it down. I don't know what this tree set's called. Sue, help me out here. We got the trees standing up, and then we've got a little bit of the Gorgeous Leaves die cuts to make the leaves to match. And we've got this one. I'm not really sure what's the best way for you to view this here. I'll just turn it a little bit. So there's the trees. And then I played with the Blackberry Beauty specialty paper and the ephemera, and we've got this little frame. So I just took one of the frames from the ephemera pack, and all these little pieces just punched right out, and I did a little gold embossing on those. So it's great how you can, you know, I love the greeting. So love you, friend. All right, and then this is for your friend. It's on their special day, and this cute little frame so that they can put that somewhere special and look at it for a long, long time. So here, instead of using designer series paper, I used cardstock, and I just ran it through an embossing folder to make it kind of special and unique. And then one of these tags came in the ephemera pack. So this didn't really have any stamping at all except for the greetings. So that is that one. And then I got out this beautiful paper again, the artistic expressions, and used that fun little die cut. Added some of the gold ephemera that you can get. So this one will sit like that. So this one I chose to not put a message up here, and that looks really great too. This can just be an added extra decoration. All right. So then I wanted to try with our free celebration dies, the little flowers that match the shaded summer stamp set. So I die cut those stamped images. But again, if you don't have die cuts, you could just cut around something to put up there, and then I added that label. So this one will stand up like that. Now, you see how this is a little unbalanced? Okay, there's like physics involved here. My husband, the engineer, would say that is not structurally sound. So you have to think about, if you put a lot of weight, you know, on the top, on this little stand-up feature, you also have to put a lot of weight on this front, because you want it to kind of be heavy to pull this down. And since this flap has to go in both directions, when it's closed, it kind of wants to fold more in one direction. So you just have to repress this fold if your card is seemingly unbalanced. And again, that's why I liked this little bit bigger flap on the bottom. Hello, Crystal. Welcome. All right, so then what I wanted to do is make one very easily, thinking about people maybe who don't have a die cut machine yet. They don't have a lot of materials, but maybe you might have some memories and more cards. Some if you do some pocket scrapbooking. I'm just going to move these a little bit here. And so I wanted to show you, these are the hand-penned Memories and More cards. So you can use these for scrapbooking. You can use them for card making. There's even some fun little pre-cut card bases with envelopes that match these cards. So you can just plop together some really simple cards. All right, so I thought, well, I'm going to use these cards and make one. And all I had to do was take a 4x6 card and cut it down to cover that. And I used one of the labels from the stickers. And so this one, I just put an entire 4x6 card up here, but of course I just trimmed it so it would match the width of my card, which is 5.5 inches. And then I put one of the 3x4 cards here. And so this is another idea. So you don't have to use a die cut. You can use what you have. Think of what might stand up. And again, the only thing you have to keep in mind is that this piece that's going to stand up cannot be taller than where this fold is, because it's got to fit inside. So you've got a little bit of room to work there. Okay, so I'm going to make another one with you, and I'm going to show you how you make the vertical version, and then we will pull those back out because I don't want to say goodbye to them just quite yet. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So the first 2 bundles that we used with these 2 stamp sets, right? They're 2 bundles. They're both on this free bundle list if you buy the starter kit during celebration. So and one is $54 and this one is $60.25. That's the value of it. You actually get them for free because you can pick any one bundle in the mini catalog for free when you sign up during celebration. So you only have the month of September to take advantage of that offer. Okay, so the next one is going to be a vertical version. And I wanted to show you how you could do this without using any die cuts or anything like that, right? We're just going to use paper. So I brought the Peaceful Prints, which is one of the free items for celebration. All right, so here are 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, here are the 6 different patterns that you can get with this pack of paper. It's absolutely perfect for Christmas. It's got Garden Green, Sahara Sand, Real Red, and Basic Black. It's wonderful. So I thought I'm going to use these cute deer, and I'm just going to use this paper to put this card together, just to give you another, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, these cards are over the top, I can't do this quite the same way. So let's make the vertical version. So we're going to start with a piece of Garden Green, and we're going to cut it in half the long way. So that's 4 1/4 inches. So everything else really about the method to put the vertical version together is exactly the same as the other horizontal version. You just have to use slightly different measurements. So now that I've got my card base, I'm going to score it at 3/4 inch, just like we did for the other version. And then I'm going to score it at 6 1/4 inches. So that's the different measurement for the vertical. Okay, so our 4.5 by 11 piece of cardstock gets scored at 3/4 and at 6 1/4. Then we're going to take the second one, we're going to score it at 3/4. And then we're going to put it at 6 1/4, but instead of scoring, we're going to cut. And that's going to be our card base extension. So now we'll score on these, or fold on these score lines, like that. Remember I said if these meet like this, then you have cut and scored it the right way. So just use those as your guide as you're scoring. And then this flap, because it's going to be the front flap and then it's also going to be the base of the easel, you want it to be able to bend in both directions. So just really work that score line back and forth a couple times, and that way that'll make it really easy to move. All right, so again, this is exactly the same as the horizontal, it's just a longer card. So these are going to get hooked together and glued. So let me bring in the rest of the pieces. Again, so this one I just want you to see how you can use just paper. You don't have to get super fancy. So instead of white on this one, I'm going to put this lighter paper on the back because you can still write a message on that. And then what I thought we would pop up is the deer, and we'll just use a circle. But first I just want to show you this. So let's just, well here, let me put these on, that way they don't move. So this is not upside down. You're seeing my deer here because remember it's going to open like this, and when it's displayed it's going to be like this. So you'll want to write with the deer, you know, right side up. So I know it looks like it's upside down right now, but it's not. You have to kind of think about the middle of the card and that little tent part, front and back, how they're going to come together. Let's say you don't have any dies or punches, you can just create another little shape, a little rectangle or a square, and you can fit that right in there, and that will be the feature that will stand up. Okay, so I'm going to just use a simple circle punch because that's very easy. It's an easy item to add to your stash. So I'm going to take a Christmas greeting and stamp that. Because we're just using all the paper. Here's where I got this Inspired Thoughts. This has some holiday greetings, sympathy greetings, and birthday greetings. It's a really, really great stamp set. And then here, instead of having a label, we're just going to take one of the lighter pieces of the Designer Series paper that comes in the pack, and this happens to look like birch tree. So we're going to take that, and that's where our secondary greeting will be. And so I wanted to use this new Thinking Thanks and Peace stamp set and use this Peace on Earth because that's a nice big greeting. Oops, I must have already gotten it out. Yes, I did. Here, I wanted to show you this too. With this particular stamp set, it came with 4 images. And like this little piece of wheat here was attached to this greeting, and this dove was attached to the Peace on Earth. And I just, you know, there was enough room in between that I cut those off so that I could use them separately. So think about that when you're putting your stamps together and assembling them. You really have, a lot of things you can control about the stamps. So let's take the Peace on Earth, get that inky, and we'll put it on this. It's going to go there. Okay, so I already cut out the deer from that piece of paper that I showed you. And so I'm going to take a circle punch and punch out this greeting. But again, if you could just, you can leave this a rectangle if you want. All right, so the deer and my circle are going to pop up there. So let's use tear tape this time so you can see the difference. This is double-sided adhesive that's very strong, so it's a great one for holding a card like this together. And we'll just lift up the paper to reveal the sticky. Okay, so we want this to kind of be a little off center here. So I'm going to put that right there. And then this deer, I want him to hang over. So I'm just kind of using that as a guide. And then we'll add this piece to it. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of glue right here. There's no wiggle room on the tear tape, so you got to nail it the first time. Okay, so let's put the deer on. Put this one on the top. Like that. Okay, move it over just a little bit. All right, so the last thing that we have to do is the flap for the outside. And so we're going to use another piece of Designer Series paper. This one might be my favorite with these little gingham check trees. Just love that. And then the thing that we're gonna pop up is this little piece, Love Joy, as our third little greeting. And I'm going to stamp that again on Designer Series paper, and then we'll punch it out. And then I'm gonna just put a little bit bigger, whoops, I used the wrong one. Oh boy, let's see if we can fix this. I used the larger punch instead of the smaller punch, but that's okay. So now I have a 1 1/4 and a 1 1/2, and I wanted this one out of the 1 1/4. So by putting that on this little Post-it note, I can kind of reposition that. Okay. And then I want a little bit bigger. It's not big enough, is it? Let me find another piece here. That, so cute. I hope that you're thinking about some of the images you have or dies or greetings that you can kind of picture as a stand-up feature in the middle of one of these cards. It doesn't take much, you know, to make it just really look super cute. So let's pop this up, because whatever you're using to hold the card front, which is on the inside right now, when it's being displayed, that has to be raised up so it'll kind of stop. And that needs to be 1 to 2 inches above, like that. And I'm going to take one more little piece of some of this pattern paper, and we're just going to make a tiny little flag. Or you could put ribbon, another little layer, but we're just using this one pack of designer series paper here, so make a little flag, and we'll have that stick out from our circle. Like that. I'm just going to keep this plain, but of course you could add some dimensionals, or not dimensionals, some embellishments to this. You could add some little rhinestones and things like that. All right, you ready to see? So here is our card closed. Just need to sometimes you have to just kind of rescore it a little bit. All right, so there's our card closed, and then we're going to open it and display it. Like that. All right, which one's your favorite? It's probably a hard call. I don't know that I could pick my favorite, although kind of feeling these Christmas ones. Let's do that. And then we'll bring back these. Sue, you have to make one of these today. You're gonna love it if you haven't made one already. It's just too much fun. Too much fun. This is an inside out card, you guys. I hope that's pretty exciting. All right, so sorry, here is the vertical measurements if you want to take a quick screenshot. But again, the PDF is going to be available this afternoon today, but if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll already be available. So we got all these. Oh my gosh, I didn't even show you these. Oh, hold on. Oh my goodness, Robin, focus up. I took the I took this new stamp set, Strong of Heart. This is a Making a Difference stamp set that Stampin' Up is donating a portion of each sale of this stamp set to go towards heart issue research. So thinking of women's heart health in October, even just you know, cancer awareness of any kind. So I just made this very simple pink and gray card, and I just popped that heart up. So this is another vertical version. Colored in that heart, did some embossing. So this is just a great way to send some encouragement. You've got all through the struggle comes strength. Oh my goodness. Through struggle comes strength is what it says. You amaze me, you are amazing, stronger than you think. So this would be a great card. Somebody could set out and remind themselves of how much you care about them. Then I wanted to try the leaves, because I love those gorgeous leaves, but I wanted to try them in kind of non-traditional colors. So I used the pansy paper and created this one with some different colors. So this would be a great birthday card to send somebody. And then the last one that's vertical that I have to show you is with the sheep, counting sheep stamp set. And again, I used this great, beautiful penned paper, made a smoky slate card, and then added pops of Pool Party and Bermuda Bay, and put those cute little sheep at the top with their little party hats on. So this is a birthday card as well. All right, I'm gonna have pictures of all these up so you can study them a little bit further. I hope that you really saw something exciting that got you excited about trying a different kind of, maybe a little bit over the top, maybe a little bit more than you usually do, but you've probably got some special people in your life that would not only love this card, they would keep it displayed forever and ever and ever. So they're definitely worth the effort to make a little bit extra card for, don't you think? I know, Susan, those sheep, they make me so happy too. They make me so happy. All right. So if you like what I'm sharing and you've learned something, go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and all that wonderful good stuff. I appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to see this live on Facebook, come back to my Facebook page every Friday at 1 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for watching today. Hope you're inspired to try something new. Thank you. Goodbye.